The basketball for him. I mean, I thought he played 40 minutes and, get the ball where it's got to go offensively, have to defend, and then put the ball in the hole. Man, he had a tremendous game for us. I mean, and we needed it. I mean, Trace, he just wasn't going to let him play. He got in foul trouble a little bit and gave us some positive minutes the second half, but we didn't get a whole lot out of him the first half because they just, they just wasn't letting him play. But everybody filled in around him. I thought coming in the half, the shot that they made before the half, we got off to such a slow start, man. And then our defense got us back in it and we just was hanging around. And in the second half, man, it was just an unbelievable combination of defense and putting the ball in the bucket.
Mike, how much better have you seen Jalen get at basically just being able to get to the spots on the floor where he's most comfortable scoring the ball, whether it's the mid-range or around the rim, just getting the ball where it needs to go for his offensive game?
Well, again, I mean, we knew when we recruited him, he could get to those spots and make shots. So I tried to, put my offense around him. Tonight we ran a lot of pick and rolls with the ball in his hands. And he made a lot of good offensive plays. He got the ball out to Miller and to areas where guys could make shots. And we didn't get a whole lot of behind the defense where we've got roles for Trace and Race and our bigs to make plays, but didn't really need to because he was making shots coming over the screen, and which was huge for our team tonight.
Okay, Tom, Mike, then Jim.
Mike, with all the congestion around those screen rolls too, they were able to find Miller and Trey. They both hit 3 threes. You also only had 8 turnovers. How critical was that just to play a clean game?
Well, it's huge on the road, man. I tell these guys every time we step foot out on the road, if you defend and rebound and not turn it over, you'll be in every game. You give yourself a chance to win. And tonight, we did all those things. We defended, we didn't rebound well, but we were able to put the ball in the hole and didn't turn it over. So that was kind of nice to see.
Coach, what did you see Purdue doing on defense that gave Jalen that mid-range? Were they dropping on the ball screens and basically?
Well, Edie drops, yeah. And the other bigs, they're up. So the matchup starting the game was Race. Edie had Grace, so we tried to keep Race in early pick and rolls, and eventually they had to come to Trace. Eventually they would move him, Edie back to the 5 guy to actually guard him. But again, our offense, when we run in pick and roll, it's predicated on spacing and how teams are playing. Sometimes they hard show, sometimes they drop, sometimes they stay a little bit longer in terms of trapping the ball, and you got to get rid of it. So, but the way they played, he had a good night.
Jim.
Mike, you know how difficult it is to play in this building.
Oh, tell me about it.
And then Purdue had a 33-12 differential in free throws. You guys were out rebounded by 16. With all of that, what did this team find on the road to be able to pull this win out?
Just playing hard, man. Again, your defense will keep you in a lot of games. I'm telling you. If you just get stops, and tonight we were making shots too, so that's a deadly combination when you get stops and you make shots behind it. So, and yes, it has been it was the first time I've ever won here in Mackey. 4 years in college, I never won here. It's a tough place to win. They've always had great teams here, well-coached teams. So we beat a good team, a well-coached team tonight.
Coach Trace obviously had foul trouble, but he still goes for 10, 8, and 7. What is it about his attitude that even if he's not playing his best game, even if he's in foul trouble, that he's still able to impact the game?
He stayed in the game mentally, and a lot of great players, when they're struggling like that, they'll start complaining about this and that. He just rolled what was going on. He knew what was happening, and he filled in nicely the second half. Did a lot of good things for him, like he's done all season for us, and was able to help contribute to help us secure the win.
Coach, you see Rosemont, when he walked off the floor, he was shouting, "This isn't the same Indiana." What did this win and sweeping Purdue for the first time since 2013 do for you in your quest to rewrite Indiana's narrative?
Well, again, I mean, this is a big game. I mean, you know, it's amazing when you come in that arena. Their fans they're jacked up, and they got wonderful fans. They cheer their team, and when they come to Bloomington, it's totally opposite. It's all about our team, and to come into this hostile environment and get a win, it just says a lot about our players. You know, I mean, you know, we've been really sitting at the top in terms of being one of the best teams in the Big Ten since we had the skid on the 3-game move. We're like 10-3 now in the Big Ten since that start. But that's behind us, man. I try to prepare these guys for every game, and Iowa's next. This game's behind us. You know what I mean? They can celebrate a little bit on the bus, but come tomorrow morning, we got to start preparing for Iowa. We played a hell of a game today against Michigan State.
Coach, I think it'd be easy to say that, you know, this rivalry is as alive as it's been in quite a while. You know, with that being the case, with IU Purdue being as intense as it's been this season, what does that do for the fans and the narrative of how basketball just means more in Indiana?
Well, again, you can't exclude Notre Dame because they've always had good teams too over the years. This state has been enriched with a lot of talented players that's come out of this state. And Purdue, in particular, have always had great teams, great coaches. I mean, I'm dating back to when I played, and it's not going to ever change. I mean, it's what it is, man. I mean, they have their fan base, we have our fan base, and I love our fan base. I truly do, because we got a great fan base. We do.
Jeff?
Mike, sorry, asking you another question about Jalen's development. You're talking about the different ways teams play you on screen and roll. How much have you seen him improve, basically knowing what's the right decision for him based on the coverage he's seeing as he comes around the screen, based on basically what teams do on the screen itself?
He's grown a lot, but, there's still holes. He's not perfect. I think as he continues to mature as a player, he's going to actually figure it out. All of it out. I mean, there's a lot of things from a point guard or whoever's running the pick and roll that you gotta read. And he's had his moments, but tonight he was brilliant in terms of how he played the pick and roll and got to his sweet spots and made shots. He made free throws, got fouled. I mean, he just had a total good game today.
Okay, we're going to finish with Jeff, Zion, then Seth. Go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, Trey Galloway, I think it was 13 points, 5 assists, no turnovers, 38 minutes. Some really good defense on Braden Smith, who's been very good for them. Just wanted to get your thoughts on Galloway's overall game tonight.
Galloway's been solid. He was solid last season. Unfortunately, he had the injuries. But he's been solid. I mean, he plays hard, man. That's what I like about him. He's got a nice basketball sense in terms of how I want guys to play, perimeter play. So I'm happy with how he played tonight. I'm happy with everybody. I mean, this was a total team effort. You beat a great team tonight that was well coached.
Okay, Zion and Seth. Rob.
Yeah, Mike, talking more on Galloway, just defensively, what did you see him doing tonight when guarding Braden Smith, just holding him to a low game?
Well, we was trying to put, like we did at our place, apply pressure. I think this, any team that you play in the Big Ten, you got to have front court, pressure. And we tried to apply it early, off the floor when they would inbound the ball and not lay on screens and when they're running their pick and roll game or setting screens on the man. And I think Gallo's starting to really mature. For our ball club, because he does a lot of nice things, dirty things that most players don't like to do, and that's play defense and get into people. So.
Okay, last question, Seth.
Mike, you came out of the locker room after halftime on a 17-4 run, and that really broke the game open. What was the message in the locker room, and what adjustments did you make?
Well, I told him to be on the road, be down 4, you should be pretty happy, but you can't be satisfied. And I told him the first 4 or 5 minutes to start the half was going to be critical. Because, we had guys that had fouls. I mean, it was just, we had 4 guys that had 4 fouls, so coming down the stretch. But I thought we came out and we answered the bell from the start with our defense. And then we got out, got the ball out. Galloway got up, put some pressure up early and got a couple steals, and then we off and running.
Okay, Coach. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, guys.
Trace and Jalen will be just outside our